Welcome to section 10. And in this section, we are going to look at the commodities market. For most beginners, commodities may not be the place you enter into the financial markets unless you're in the line of business of one of these commodities. But commodities have play a very important role because a lot of commodities have a direct correlationship with the state of world economies, state of the GDP, and also some commodities actually indicate whether the future is going to be a better economy than the present. As we saw in the intro, there are basically three baskets of commodities, and these are the industrial commodities. So we've got things like copper, iron ore, zinc, oil. I've put oil also in that bucket there because it doesn't really fit into the precious metals or the agri commodities. And of course, oil is an industrial commodity for the most part. The important one is copper because copper is used very widely in all kinds of industrial activity. So if you study copper, if you study the consumption of copper, the demand and the supply, it gives you a very good idea of the state of the global economy as well as where things are headed. It is sometimes also called Dr. Copper because copper apparently has a PhD in economics. So that's really how important copper is as an industrial commodity. The others are, you can find more information. If you're from that industry, you would be interested a little bit more. But otherwise, for the normal retail investor, iron ore and zinc and things like that are a little too esoteric. We are going to study the oil market very carefully. We're going to study the oil charts. We're also going to study gold in the precious metals. Silver kind of follows gold, but silver is also an industrial commodity. It's used in many industries. And of course, then you have the agri commodities where you have corn, soybean, cattle, etc. And once again, if you are a retail investor, you would not really get into these kind of investments unless you were from one of those industries and you knew that industry very well and you take some positions based on the opportunities that you see. But otherwise, for retail investors, mostly we're going to be dealing with oil and gold. And so let's go over the next couple of lectures. That's what we're going to do. We're going to study gold, we're going to study oil, and of course, now there are various ways you can invest into the commodities market. And so I'll give you all the details. And I do want to make a trade on gold as well. So, we'll get to that also. Anyway, so in the next lecture, we want to take a deep dive into gold and then oil after that. Thanks.